Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And I know it's been a long time, but I have been working on something big here. This is a very massive update to my Delta Flyer Delta 3D printer. So if you guys know, I've been working on Delta 3D printers for a little while now. I have my Min Delta printer, which is a really tiny little micro printer. And then I made Delta Flyer, which was a bigger version, still used linear rods with IGES bearings. And it was a nice printer, it prints well, but I always knew that I wanted to update it, kind of put some fine polish on it, make it better, make it easier to build, that type of thing. LDO reached out to me saying that they wanted to make kits of Delta Flyer. And that kind of pushed me to what you see here, which is Delta Flyer Refit. This is my big overhaul to the printer. And as you can see, I have two printers here. This is the prototype that I designed. And this is a LDO beta kit that I also assembled. So I have been very busy. I am going to be giving these printers away. So if you're a Patreon or a YouTube member, your name is going to go into a draw to win one of these printers. I will announce the winner on live stream, maybe next weekend or the weekend after. You do not have to be viewing the live stream to win. You just need to be a Patreon of any tier or a YouTube member of any tier. And this is a way for me to give back to the supporters. I really do appreciate you. This all wouldn't be possible without your help. So if you're really interested in supporting me, check out the link in the description. You can join my Patreon. You can be a YouTube member. There are definitely perks to doing so if you do want to support me. So, Delta Flyer Refit. Don't worry, we're going to do a close-up of the printer. I'll show you a close-up of the LDO version in just a moment here. But essentially, this is a fine-tuning, polishing of Delta Flyer. A really big deal of this printer is linear rails. Linear rods are gone, IGES bearings are gone. This will solve 90 to 95% of the issues I've seen when people trying to build Delta Flyer. Linear rods and bearing tolerances are a big pain. They're either binding or they're too loose, and it's just a pain to assemble and really make the motion system be nice and smooth. So a really big change. We have 2020 extrusions here and we have linear rails. So that is obviously the biggest update and the most important one. I've also went around and kind of fine-tuned all the printed parts as well. You can see a much more polished looking printer here. We have nice rounded corners, much sleeker. I have taken all the parts and I've condensed them into their own individual parts. So before, this bottom frame joint here was like 3 different pieces. It consisted of the joint, a motor plate, and a bearing plate. That's all gone. It's just one piece. Much more simple, much more easier to build. I've also taken away all the dovetail joints. The original Delta Flyer used dovetails for its side panels, which worked okay for me, but if your printer's not really dialed in, or your printer prints slightly differently, or your material is printing slightly differently, those dovetail panels, connecting them together, they could bow out or do some weird things. Same thing with the dovetail on the top lid. That's all completely gone. The parts just butt up to each other. There's no dovetails. Really, really easy to print. I've also put more heat sets into this printer. So all the M3 nuts are completely gone. It's all now heat sets. The bed is mounted better. It's just an overall better printer and kind of the final revision of this smaller Delta 3D printer. It's still that 115 millimeter build size. Again, the build is circular, so It's not as big as a square 115 millimeter build area, but this is a really, really nice, compact, and useful printer. It's great for printing minis, great for printing toys and other parts and stuff like that. And it's really nice for wrapper prototyping small parts as well too. So I'd like to thank PCBway for sponsoring this video. PCBway isn't just a PCB manufacturer. They do CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and injection molding. Let's take a look at their 3D printing service. Let's go ahead and upload a part for Cappy. This is the Dragon Burner mount. We're going to go ahead and choose a quantity of 1. We can choose the type of material we'd like it printed in. We'll go ABS. We're going to choose black, and let's go 40% infill. You can go ahead then and submit a request, and it's just that simple. Thanks again to PCBway for sponsoring this video. Let's go ahead and get a close-up here of the LDO beta kit, and we'll kind of go through the features and all that kind of stuff so you can get a better look at it. All right, here we are, a nice closer view here of the Delta, the LDO prototype here. This is kind of initial kit to fine-tune everything, make sure everything's working well. Turned out excellent. I'm expecting the kits to show up at retailers in 2 to 3 months. I, of course, will keep constant updates on my Discord and also my YouTube channel. If you guys want to see anything about these printers, leave a comment below. I do want to make more videos on this printer and show it off more. So if you have questions, definitely ask. So big shout out to Canrog on my Discord, who is part of the Rolohaun design team. He did help me polish up a few things. So we have a really nice door handle here, which has my logo on it. I think it's like the cherry on top. It kind of finishes off the entire printer. Really, really nice look to it. Of course, with the Delta LDO kit, you do get panels, pre-cut panels. I have left the protective film on my back ones. It just worked out really well. I printed this printer out with white ABS, and I thought it looked really cool to leave the protective film on the back panels. So it's kind of got a really nice, clean, white aesthetic, and I think it also helps the LED on the interior really shine nice and bright, and you get a really nice view of the inside of the printer. So we have our door here. These are still kind of some prototype older files. So you'll notice the door, it can catch right at this point right here, but I have smoothed out these corners in the actual files that are in printables right now, by the way. If you go into the actual description, you'll see the files on printable. So there's a fine tuning that I did there. I also made a little bit bigger gap here just to accommodate for a little bit different materials. So I printed this entire printer out of ABS. The yellow Delta that you've seen at the beginning of the video, that was all printed in ASA. You can also print this in PLA if you're not going to enclose the printer. So this printer should pretty much suit anyone. It will work in ABS, ASA, or PLA. So it's a very versatile build. All the tolerance worked out really well. And it's just a nice, easy printer to assemble and to print in the material of your choice. So we have the nice magnetic front door there. You'll notice the hinges are a huge improvement over the old version. The old version had the hinges on the outside. It didn't look that nice. These are all nice and clean and inset inside to the frame. So really, really nice improvement there. The first thing I'm going to mention here are the arms. Delta 3D printer arms are one of the most important aspects of this build, and LDO has basically included what I think to be the standard here on the arm assembly. So they are cutting the carbon fiber arms for you. They're also providing the threaded rod dowels to attach the ball ends to the actual carbon arms, and they are including their version of a kind of MP Jet kind of clone. You'll notice there are elastics here. This is to pre-tension the arm because there is a little bit of play in these ball joints. This is just what LDO has available. These arms do function completely fine. However, LDO is going to include another set of carbon arms in the kit so that you can go and buy genuine MP jets and very easily upgrade your printer. So you can completely assemble the printer as is, get it printing, enjoy it. And if you want to upgrade your arm joints to MP jets, you can do that. The arms are included in the kit. MP jets are about $20. Order them, assemble another set of arms, and it's simply just unbolt the arms and bolt the new ones in. So really convenient. The arms are also the same length as the previous Delta Flyer. So if you've already built the first version of my Delta, you can upgrade to this version very easily. You essentially would just need a set of 2020 extrusions and the linear rails, and you would be good to go. So that's very nice as well. You'll also notice a really nice bed. Again, LDO make really nice beds for the V0, and this is no different. You get a really nice magnetic PEI sheet. You can see the LDO and Rolohaun 3D logo there. We have a very nice CNC'd bed here that is on standoffs, raises up a little bit, nice magnetic base, really nice piece to the kit. And you're essentially getting really good bed LDO 0.9 degree motors. You're getting LDO linear rails and really nice LDO extrusions with this kit. So as I've mentioned, I've also added heat sets and replaced all of the places on the old Delta Flyer where they're M3 nuts. I found the M3 nuts could spin in place. Sometimes they cracked the print when you tightened them too tightly. The heat sets that are now on the effector and also on the joints are much better, and they make the joints much more robust. You can really lock them in and all that kind of stuff. So really nice addition there. And again, I talked about getting rid of all of the dovetails. So you can install these corner joints really nice. They come on near the end of the build. So you can basically have your printer 3D printing while you're making these corners and kind of assembling the printer as you go type thing. So this also uses the same hot end that the Rook uses now, which is the Triangle Labs TR6. Again, it's a very common hot end that's used in other LDO kits like the Rook. Made sense to just adopt that to this printer. The hot end already has a Bowden collet integrated into it, so it's a really nice hot end that's very well suited to this effector. Canrog has also polished the effector and the Bowden and the hot end mount here as well. We have a nice cable relief here cut into this, and he also made a really nice tri-horn cooling duct. So really nice upgraded duct there. Big thanks to him for kind of putting that last final polish on the printer for me. Again, we have some nice covers here. We have our 3 LDO motors in the bottom. Basically just have an AC adapter that plugs into the electronics in the top. LDO is going to be giving you a Big Tree Tech mainboard here with an onboard computer on a chip basically to run Clipper. So it's an all-in-one solution, kind of like a Manta board. Very nice, works really well. Of course, you get all the LDO fans, the 5010 in the back there, the 3010, and it's actually a quite quiet printer. I'll show it off printing here near the end, so definitely stay tuned to the end of the video. And like the Delta Flyer, we are of course doing a Bowden with just a BMG clone extruder that mounts to the panel. So let me take my phone here off the tripod and I'll give you a little bit closer look at a few items, and then we can show this printer off printing. All right, so you can get a bit better look here at how much more robust these joints are. They're a nice solid one piece, really thick joint. You can see the heat sets there. Very easy to really bolt these down and clamp them. The belt tensioning is also much improved. We're using Apex clips here, so the belts stay nice and straight, And these clips just push into the part and they press the belt into some teeth so that it can't come out. We then have a tensioning bolt on the bottom here to tension the belts. Very easy to assemble, much better than my other Delta or the original Delta Flyer. So that is a really big upgrade there for sure. We can also see that nice tri-horn duct that Canrog has made. And then over here on the side panel, we can see the BMG extruder that mounts there. Also, a really nice big change is we have the cables that run inside the printer. They have their own cable channel, which we can see here. Keeps it really nice and clean. The cables run on the inside of the printer now. They're not running on the outside. You don't have wires dangling on the outside or anything like that. And of course, we have our magnetic top just like we have before. Brace yourselves for the genuine Rolohaun wiring under here. And again, this is still a prototype, so I don't have like everything bolted on here. We can see we do have a cooling fan for the board here. And we have our Big Tree Tech board there. It's an all-in-one board and my really awesome wiring there that everyone is very well aware of. LDO does include a full wiring harness and a barrel connector here, so it's very easy to plug the main board in. Just a really nice, easy, well thought out build. Cables are nice and extra long to run. You don't have to make your own cables or anything like that. You can see the top of the 3D printer here is all labeled. So we have our A tower here, which is our X stepper. We have our B tower, Y stepper, and then we have our C tower with our Z. So this, I think, is going to be a lot of people's first 3D printer, Delta 3D printer. It's the right size. It's really simple to build. I do plan on developing a manual for this printer. Again, that's going to be a few months out. If you want to really get on the bleeding edge, you can, of course, build one of these right now. The bill of materials is on the printables link down in the description below. If you have any questions about this printer, feel free to ask away in the comments. Definitely join my Discord. If you're interested in supporting builds like this, check out my Patreon. And again, you will be entered in to win one of these 3D printers as long as you're an active supporter. When the live stream giveaway goes live, I will contact you if you are the winner. And let's go ahead and let's get this 3D printer printing so we can see how well it prints. And here we are printing a RoloCube. I have the door closed here just to keep it a little bit quieter, but the printer is quite quiet already. We're printing at 10,000 acceleration here in about 120 to 200 millimeters a second, depending on the feature of the model. And what's really nice about Delta 3D printers is you calibrate these one time and then you just get to keep printing. There's no bed leveling, there's no probing after calibration. The printer heats up and it just starts printing. So they're very nice for rapid prototyping small objects or models or things like that. And I've always been impressed by the print quality of these 3D printers, and they're very fun to watch too. So I have been printing other models, of course, on this printer, and I've printed a bunch of models on my other Delta. So we can actually see here really nice print quality. This is a Bright Mini off of Printables. Very happy with the detail. This is scaled up by 200%, so we can get a little bit better detail. This is a 0.16 layer height. Of course, we have printed a Cali Dragon out. I printed this Cali Dragon pretty quickly. Little bit of cooling could be helped out right there, but that's primarily just to my layer time, and I could definitely clean that up a bit. But like I say, this was printed quite quickly. I wasn't going for a quality per se. I was just doing kind of an initial test on this guy. And then I printed up a scaled up just kind of generic calibration cube here, just to kind of show off how clean a prints come off of this printer. This is at 0.25 layer height. And the layer stacking is very, very nice. I have no pressure advance on this. I've turned pressure advanced off. So you can kind of see a bit more of the raw print. You can see the need for pressure advance right here, but I have turned that off for this print. I just wanted a really, really vanilla print. Again, pressure advance would help all those corners and stuff, but just a really nice, clean square that comes out of this 3D printer. Deltas are very accurate if they're built properly and they're calibrated properly. And then we kind of have our frog print here. This frog doesn't really show off print quality that well because the frog does have a texture. So the model does have a texture on this, but as you can see, the print turned out very, very well. And there are some supports here in the mouth and whatnot. I really like the actual drumstick here. You can really see how nice the print quality is on this printer here. So again, this is a 0.16 millimeter layer height print, and there's no wobbling, nothing, just a really clean, nice 3D print. That's a overview here on my Delta Flyer Refit. Thank you everyone for watching, and definitely leave a comment below, like, share, and subscribe.